This video, it will be a short tip, but also a small insight that will actually be more relevant in future talks. Basically, you have a choice. You always have a choice about what to think because you can actually question your thoughts. The problem with anxiety and depression is that the thoughts come and you never stop, or you ban them or just are murdered by them, but you don't get to actually step aside, wait a second, and then say, wait, should I allow this thing to enter? Because that's exactly what you need to do as one of the first things to get your power back. So the first thing is the aware. I am aware that I'm having a negative thought. I'm not telling you to straightforward do that, because of course when you have an attack, especially an anxiety attack or a depressive attack like I used to, they just come. You perfectly know how they are. So basically they just come in waves and there's just this pain forever and ever. But in the midst of it all, if you're able to anchor yourself in whatever way possible, okay, I have a pair of techniques then I can share also that have worked for me, okay, and still have to be polished on my personas. Of course, everyone has to find a way to regulate, okay, to get the famous pause in the midst of the storm. Once you are able to not be as attacked by these things, you can stop for a second and say, okay, I do have a choice to respond, to react, to let the thought, let the image evoke something in me. Because that's basically all we are. Our concept of self, our ego, our whole reality is basically a reaction to both what happens on the outside, the factual reality, and what happens on the inside with our reality, which is a personal makeup of both like senses, sensorial capabilities, which vary from person to person, but we cannot experience them in the varying degrees of other people, and of course our thoughts and our beliefs. So our beliefs are the filter and thoughts are these things that continuously make us feel and so interact both in the three-dimensional world and in the four-dimensional world. So in the belief and imagination, in the story that we tell ourselves, what we are doing, what is happening, why it's happening. And so they tell us, based also on our beliefs and our structure of the subconscious, what to do next and how to feel. But when you're able to pause for a second, maybe you're also able to say, okay, this makes me feel like crap. Should I let it come inside? So I'm not talking about just going all in with high vibration. I'm just trying to see that you have the choice. And that's an incredible first step. I do have a choice. So there's a negative thought. I don't have enough money, or I don't feel safe. Okay, that's factual, but I chose that thought. And by choosing the thought, I mean that I actually have a reaction. I think that that thought is true. But still, I have the choice also to reject or at least to object that thought. So make it less powerful by delaying or at least questioning it. It's the first step in order to reframe it. So of course it will come, will create a reaction, even in the midst of an attack, but you can always recognize that you do have the choice. So the first thing that I want you to do is when you have a negative thought and a negative reaction, just remember that you choose that. You chose that. And you slowly, very, very slowly, with lots of willpower, of course, fortunately, you can actually stop, have a bigger pause, and then just try to choose something else. But remember, you have chosen that. You are choosing the reaction. You can choose your reaction, and that's when you have the greatest power. So this is the video about the choice, which we will later expand in other concepts. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day.